Lon Helton inviting you to join me as I count down the week's top 30 along with Blake Shelton, who tells me how he spent his second wedding anniversary.
You'll love this. We shared our wedding anniversary, second wedding anniversary, with Miranda and the rest of the Pistol Annies.
That's Blake Shelton this week on Country Countdown USA.
It's time for the week's top 30. Hey everybody, I'm Blake Shelton, and these are a few of my hits.
I'll be your honeybee. It's all about tonight. Your hillbilly boom, ba boom, ba boom, boom.
I have a song in the top 5, and it sounds like this.
Yeah, the boys round here drinking that ice cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust.
We'll play that song and talk about The Voice as I count down the hits with Lon Helton of Country Air Check. Right now, here's Lon with this week's hottest song.
Well, thanks, Blake. And our radio stations give the honor to the king.
Cool.
Here's George Strait. Give it all we got tonight. Each week, I'm joined by a top country star who stops by the studio here to give me a hand counting down the hits. Along this week is Blake Shelton. How are you?
Man, I'm real good. How are you doing?
I'm trying to remember the last time I saw you. I guess you were here in the show first week of March, but you did. But I saw you out in Las Vegas.
You saw me out in the woods in Texas.
In San Antonio, I did. Matter of fact, I got a large 8x10 photo of us together.
Well, I'm not trying to give away too much, but I bet you in that picture, one of us had been drinking. I'm not going to say who.
And one of us is kissing the other one.
I know. I've been meaning to talk to you about that. You need to really calm it down when we're in public.
As we get along, there's a lot to talk about. We'll talk about The Voice because, of course, you've been working with the new coaches, Shakira and Usher, and you've got a song in the top 5 called Boys Around Here. It seems like it just came out yesterday. It really does. I mean,
yeah, this has been a fast one, and I don't know how or why it's happening, but it's a pretty exciting one.
Man, we'll talk about the summer tour. You're finally going to get back on the road again. Be on CMA Fest next week here in Nashville. A lot to talk about with our co-host Blake Shelton. Right now, we'll get things started at number 30. This is Craig Campbell and Out of My Head. 30, that's Out of My Head. We're here counting down the hits this week with Blake Shelton. Of course, his current hit is called Boys Round Here, and it's still way ahead in the top 5, but we're going to play it here a little bit and talk about it anyway. You know, we caught up with the Pistol Annies not too long ago, and Angelina said that they were with you the very first time you heard the song.
He listened to that song. I remember we were in LA for the Hunger Games premiere, and we made Blake go with us, bless his heart. And so we're driving down from their house. We're all ready. And I guess he hadn't even recorded this song yet. He had the demo of Boys Around Here on his phone. And it was played over and over and over. And he was just, you know.
He's like, I gotta have the Annies.
So I remember, I knew the song. By the time it came around for us to sing it, I was like, got it. I know it now.
I mean, it couldn't be different stylistically. Yeah. I mean, our music's completely opposite of Blake's, but that's one of those songs that every one of our hometowns, every dude in their truck is going to crank it up.
Yep. And we'll be the little girls back there just...
I love the way Ash left that. That leaves a lot to the imagination, doesn't it?
Yes.
It is true. I mean, that story's true. I remember it clearly, and I remember at one point I was in the house listening to it, and the girls were all laying out by the pool, and I heard Miranda say, "Blake, come down here and plug that in so we can hear it." And at that moment, I was like, "Oh crap! If the Pistol Annies like this song, and I like it, it must be universal." I mean, this must be actually, I'm onto something here. If there's actually a song we can agree on.
Well, the boys around here don't listen to
That's newcomer Tyler Farr making his countdown debut at number 28 with Redneck Crazy. Blake Shelton's in here as my co-host. I want to talk about Trace Adkins a little bit. Just named the winner of All-Star Celebrity Apprentice, of course, on the same network that The Voice is on, NBC. And actually, Trace was just in here last week, and he was telling me that he thinks that you're the reason that The Voice is a hit.
His personality makes that show work. It's not the other people, I don't think. Because none of them are really funny.
You know how I feel about Trace. I mean, I love him. He's family to me, and Of course, we never say that to each other's face. We wait on opportunities like this to brag on each other. When we're around each other, it's always, I hate you, and get out of my face, and I don't know why I've ever associated with you to begin with. Those type of loving comments. But,
Right.
you know what? I'm thrilled that Trace won The Apprentice and the Celebrity All-Star won it at that. He's a smart guy. And I'm glad that us country artists are taking over this network.
Hey, I don't know if you saw that second to last episode of the Celebrity Apprentice when Trace was trying to get people to come to New York to support him for that whole finale thing, and he did say, "Yeah, Blake turned me down."
I did see. I saw an episode. I don't know if it was the last one, but he had contacted me and said, "Hey, can you come up here and do this acoustic performance for me?" And I said, well, here's the deal. I can't, and here's why. I'm actually filming this other show. And he said, oh, yeah, I didn't realize that was the day you're filming. And then he called me back a couple of days later. He said, I need you to say on speakerphone the reason you can't be here. So he understood, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to catch any less crap about it.
No, I think that part was on the cutting room floor. I don't recall seeing that on the show. So all I heard was,
I'm sure.
Yeah, McGraw turned me down and Shelton turned me down. So.
I know. I'll get even.
Here we go.
A couple of number 26 with Easy. Blake Shelton's along as my co-host this week. Before we leave Cheryl, she was your guest mentor on The Voice this season on your label. So
yeah, Cheryl is one of those people that I've always admired. I mean, there's no way you can know her or see her or listen to her music without loving Sheryl Crow. She's just that all-American girl that she is who you think she is too. That's been my favorite thing about getting to know her, and I'm really, really proud to call her a friend. And she's just a neat person to be around, and she's been through a lot, and she's strong, and I just admire. I can't say enough good things about her because it's all true, and the fact that I can call her a buddy is I'm honored.
Well, neat too that she's having a big hit now in country with Easy.
I love that song, by the way. I listened to it. I downloaded it on my phone. I listened to Easy all the time because that's basically what Miranda and I do at home, is sit out in the yard and drink all day when we finally get a day off, and we're just as happy doing that as we are being in somewhere like Cancun.
Just Easy, I understand.
That's right.
Well, Sheryl Crow was there at 26 with Easy. As we head on to number 25 here, along with Blake Shelton, it's Billy Currington and Hey Girl.
Hey girl, what's your name?
Justin Moore up a couple of number 23. That's Point at You. Blake Shelton's along as our co-host. And, hey, let's talk a little season 4 of The Voice. Just, 3 weeks left in this? I watch it all the time, and it looks like you're still having a pretty good time doing that.
I'm having a ball doing it, and as long as I can continue to do country music and make records and go out and tour, why in the hell wouldn't I want to sit in that chair also and have fun and help maybe find a new star along the way. It's working out, and it's just up to the network to tell me, hey, you're setting this one out or not. And then so far, Adam and I, we've been invited back every time, and don't know why, but I think we're both pretty happy about it.
To be back for season 5?
Yes, I will, and so will Adam.
Oh, great. That's good news.
Yeah.
And she mentioned, too, that the finale for Season 4 is June 18th on NBC TV. Heading back to the countdown here with our co-host Blake Shelton at 22. It's Gary Allen and Pieces.
I've been
Easton Corbin up 1 to number 20. That's All Over the Road. Blake Shelton's our co-host this week. And, of course, Easton, before we leave him, he's out with you this summer on your 10 Times Crazier tour. Gets underway July 19th, Virginia Beach, Easton and Janet Kramer. And so finally, it's like, like we talked earlier, you're back on the road for a nice run, kind of doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm glad that we got Easton out there and Janet too, and I'm glad to have him out. I mean, he's one of the last really traditionalists that we got out there at radio, and I'm glad to see him having so much success. I've even wandered out to the edge with my music a little bit, and to see Easton still chugging along there, just being a solid hardcore country music artist and doing well, it makes me happy for him.
Just what are you thinking? I mean, you're wondering, is it going to be different after The Voice to do this tour now, or what people are, or who's going to show up, or?
I don't know what it's going to be like, but I know that I can guarantee you that the name of the tour is going to be the truth. It is going to be 10 times crazier than anything I've done before, and that's really exciting to me to know that I can do a full set of music that is hits, you know, and not many artists get to do that, and I know how lucky I am to get to do it, and it is going to be crazy.
Girl, I've been thinking about us, and you know I ain't good at this stuff, but these feelings piling up won't give me no rest. This might come out a little crazy, a little sideways, yeah.
That's Gloriana up 1, number 18, Can't Shake You. We're counting down the hits here this week with Blake Shelton, and talking about The Voice. I think we've already chatted about Trace winning Celebrity Apprentice, but that very same night, you were on The Voice. Tim McGraw had a TV special on CBS, and of course, Taylor Swift was on ABC, winning a whole bunch of Billboard Music Awards. It's just amazing to me how many country stars are really on TV right now.
It's cool. I think tides always turn, you know, and for whatever reason in the past, and I know this firsthand, that country artists just couldn't get on TV to save their life, you know. It just for some reason, network television just didn't see the connect with their audience with country music, and now all of a sudden, you know, even with Keith Urban being a judge on Idol and Kelly Pickler being on Dancing with the Stars, and of course what I'm doing, and all this stuff, it's like all of a sudden we're being embraced by network television, and I think that they've wisened up to know, yeah, maybe in Los Angeles and New York City we're not the strongest genre, but all that space in between those two cities, we pretty much own, you know, and I think they finally figured that out.
Oh, yeah, finally, I think. But I do want to come back and talk some more about your contribution to all that in just a little bit, and we'll do that with our co-host Blake Shelton. But first, number 17, it's the Henningsons, American Beautiful. Henningsons up 1 at number 17 with American Beautiful. Blake Shelton's in here as my co-host this week, and up next is Hunter Hayes. And, of course, you were, as we mentioned, co-host of the ACM Awards show. Just wonder what you made of Hunter performing with Stevie Wonder at the show.
You know, I thought it was amazing. I mean, I can't draw a negative from it. It's just here's a musical legend, and that's a fan of country music, and he's a big time fan of one of our artists in country music because he recognizes how talented he is, and of course Hunter looks up to Stevie just like all the rest of us do.
I know as host or co-host of the show with Luke Bryan, you had a lot going on. Did you have a chance at all to chat with Stevie Wonder?
Man, I didn't, and that frustrates me. And I don't think Luke did either, because it was like once we were on stage with him, it was like, you know, we were looking at each other like, I'm going to try to get in there and shake his hand and say hi or something, and then producers are pulling at you, and you're like going, oh, dang it, there was my chance, you know. But just to be able to share the stage with him, I can live with that and be happy about it for the rest of my life.
Well, of course, we started this whole thing talking about Hunter Hayes, who was also on stage that night with Stevie Wonder at the ACM Awards. And speaking of Hunter, he happens to be next at number 16, I Want Crazy.
I'm booking myself a one-way flight.
Shelton is along as my co-host, and I didn't want to get too far in the show before we talked about the tornadoes that hit your home state of Oklahoma a few weeks ago. I trust your family and friends came out okay?
Yeah, you know, as far as my family goes, everybody was pretty much in the clear. You know, that was just a terrible couple of days, but especially, you know, that Monday. I mean, that size of a tornado is rare anyway, and much less to go right through the heart of that kind of an area that's that heavily populated, you know.
And the schools and,
Yes, I mean, every bad thing that you could throw into the equation, it all came together, and it's just, it's unimaginable. And there was tornadoes everywhere that day. And there was and I'm sure there's a lot of stories that we haven't even heard about that hit, you know, smaller communities or maybe some rural areas, but it was just a terrible day in Oklahoma overall.
Folks can still donate money to the Red Cross at redcross.org. As we head back to the countdown with Blake Shelton, we're at number 14. Here's the Zac Brown Band, Jump Right In. That's Luke Bryan picking up a couple of number 12 with Crash My Party. Blake Shelton's our co-host this week. Of course, the two of you guys co-hosted the ACM Awards. That one moment when he won Entertainer was one of the great few minutes of television I think I've ever seen. And where were you standing? What were you thinking? What were you watching?
I was standing off to the, they had Luke and I standing there off to the side when they were showing the nominees, and then they announced the winner. And I loved it because we had just had a conversation before that. It was like we were looking ahead on the script, and it's like, oh my gosh, here comes the big one, and good luck to you, good luck to you. We were talking, and we both had kind of decided, well, it's probably Taylor Swift's award, And it was emotional for him. It was emotional for all of us in that room, because everybody in our industry and in that room that night, we've all had a chance at some point to experience what it's like to be around Luke Bryan, and he's just a great guy, and he's somebody that you hope good things for, and he deserves it. He is an entertainer. Luke's in his prime right now, and he's probably going to be the guy that takes home all the awards for the next couple of years, and I'm happy for him.
With all the emotion that Luke was going through, and then you come out and lighten up the moment immediately with just this great line. What'd you say? You said, I hope you enjoyed your first and last year.
Yeah, exactly. I hope you enjoyed your first and last co-hosting. I mean, I can't have a co-host coming out there sucking all the awards out from under me.
It was just perfect line, because it just lightened everything up. It was really funny. That was good stuff. We're talking about Luke Bryan, who was at number 12 in the countdown, as Blake Shelton and I head on to number 11. It's the band Perry and Dunn. Kenny Chesney at number 10, that's Pirate Flag. And we're here counting down the hits this week with Blake Shelton. A lot of your friends have been here talking about you over the last few weeks and last few months, really. A couple of months ago, Lady Antebellum was in here, and Hillary Scott was talking about you and being on The Voice.
I hope Blake doesn't have any hard feelings, but, I have to say, Adam called first. And so it was such a fun experience to be able...
Adam's hotter to you, right? He's
I have to say, I did come back from my first day being a mentor with him, and I looked at my husband and I said, babe, it is not a bad day having to hang out with him for a few hours. But it was a great experience, and truthfully, I just love the show so much as a whole, and I love Blake to death, but, you got to call me first next time.
Call me maybe.
Call me maybe.
I was excited when I heard that Adam brought in Hillary, because they've actually recorded together before. I don't even know if you know that.
No, really.
But they did. They're actually on an album, or at least Hillary is with Adam, and so they've got some history together, and they've been friends for a while. And I actually thought at some point, man, it'd be cool to get Lady A in here, but how are we going to get all three of them in here to do the mentor thing? And Adam just went out on a limb and brought in Hillary. So I think in order to get even, maybe I'll just bring in Dave or Charles next year and let her see how it feels.
Well, why don't we get all three of them in here right now? It's Lady Antebellum and their number one hit, Downtown. It's Blake Shelton, and a bit ago we were talking about your 10 Times Crazier tour, and I'm just kind of wondering, with all the incredible success The Voice has had, you're going to have a lot of new fans in the audience, folks who maybe might not know the big hits you had, 12 years ago, like Austin or Old Red.
I'm sure they thought that those songs were Neil McCoy or Terry Clark or somebody like that. They probably don't even realize those songs were my songs.
Terry Clark?
One time I was leaving Fanfare back when I had the long hair and the black cowboy hat. This has been back in 2001 or 2.
No.
And I was leaving the area, and I heard some fans go, Terry! Terry! And I turned around to look, and they saw that it was a guy, that was me, and they were like... And they started whistling, like looking at the ground and looking in the air like they're examining. And I was like, they thought I was Terry. I'm cutting his hair. That's it. I don't want to be confused for a woman.
Anyway, it is back to the countdown here. Nowhere to go after that, I think, Blake. We're at number 9. Here's Jake Owen and Anywhere With You.
I'm a long gone wailing song on vinyl.
Eric Church up 1 to number 7, Like Jesus Does. Blake Shelton's our co-host this week. Up next is the latest number 1 from Miranda. You guys just celebrated your 2nd wedding anniversary. Were you actually in the same state together?
We were.
14th?
We shared. Here, you'll love this. We shared our wedding anniversary, 2nd wedding anniversary, with Miranda and the rest of the Pistol Annies at the house in Los Angeles. It just so happened to fall right during their media blitz week of Annie Up album, and that's okay because we ended up flying back home, and we had a day or two later we actually had our anniversary toast and got to spend the whole day together, just she and I. We didn't see anybody else, and it was very similar to the day that I asked her to marry me, and it was perfect.
That's cool. I saw too when she was in Bakersfield doing a show, and about a week before that, you went up to kind of surprise her.
I did. I actually spent the entire weekend with her. I think it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or
holy cow,
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I know. That's can you believe we got that much time together? But it was fun, and she invited me on stage each one of those nights to sing Boys Around Here, and it was so cool.
I cut my bangs with some rusty
Dirt rolls out kicking up dust.
That's my co-host Blake Shelton up a couple of number 5. That's Boys Round Here. And Blake, we talked earlier about how the Pistol Annies join you on the song, but they're also in the video for this. And actually, Miranda explained their role in the Boys Round Here video.
Okay.
From day one, he was like, y'all got to be in the video, and he had this vision of us doing like the sirens in Oh Brother Where Art Thou when they stand in the river.
Yeah. Are we going to have on them outfits?
Yeah, I hope so.
I'm wearing Daisy Dukes and pasties. So I don't know about y'all.
And spank.
That's what it said in my
And a
treatment.
spank tank.
And a spank.
Sounds like you're writing the treatments.
Well, I did. It's so funny when you get that excited about a song that you've cut. You have all these ideas and all these big plans, and this is one of those rare cases where I thought, man, I want Pistols on there, and here's how I want to do the video, and have these trucks and farm animals around and this big party, and I want the Pistols to be like those girls. And I remember that scene in Oh Brother Where Art Thou, where they come through the woods and these beautiful women are out there in the river. I said, I want y'all to be that. And I can't believe I got Miranda to go along with that, and I bet she's glad now. They look amazing, standing there.
They do. And did it take a lot of talking her into?
And I just told her how beautiful. I kept throwing around the word how amazing, beautiful, angelic that they would look, and how I'll make sure that she's something she'll be proud of. And finally, she's like, "Well, okay." So I was like, "Yes." Now I got to make sure this all happens.
We're talking about the video to Blake Shelton's current hit called Boys Around Here that features the Pistol Annies. And from Blake's hit at number 5, we head on in the countdown to number 4, Florida Georgia Line, Get Your Shine On. Darius Rucker once again at number 2 with Wagon Wheel. We're counting down the hits with Blake Shelton. We now come to the number 1 song in the USA, and a rather historic moment. George Strait, his 60th number 1.
I can tell you, and you know this, or you can tell me, this will never happen again. It just will not ever happen again.
Yeah.
We'll never see an artist have 60 number 1 hits in country music or any music. Probably it's remarkable. It's how does he do it?
Well, of course, it was cool. George celebrated his 61st birthday on a Saturday, and on a Sunday found out he had his 60th number 1. And you're right, never going to be done again. If you think about it, Unwound was 81. That's 32 years, 60 number 1s. That's 2 number 1s a year. First, you have to have the 30-year career. So,
man, you can look, and it's amazing if you look at some of the biggest artists that you can imagine. And for people listening at home, think of like some of the biggest artists that you can imagine. Then Wikipedia their discography and look at their singles and where they peaked. It'll really put in perspective what George Strait has done. When you think of some of the biggest artists in the world who have had 10 or 15 or maybe 20 number 1 hits in their entire career.
Yeah.
The biggest artist in the world. George Strait has had 60 number 1 hits. That's enough to spread. I wish he would throw a few my way.
You're doing okay.
July moonlight shines
And there they are, the top 30 country hits in the USA as compiled by Country Art Check. And of course, we've been counting them down here with Blake Shelton. And before you get out of here, you've got a list of the first dates from your new 10 Times Crazier tour.
Yeah, man, it kicks off in Virginia Beach on July 19th, and then over to D.C. on the 20th, New York City on the 21st, St. Louis on the 26th, and Indianapolis on the 27th, and Cincinnati on the 28th, and it's kind of a blur after that.
And of course, the new CD is based on a true story, features the top 5 hit boys around here. Best luck with that. As always, I know how busy you are, and I really appreciate you taking some time to hang out with us here.
I appreciate you, brother.
Country